Bagaitso madume ga fetše. You still watching Mzansi Fundiz. Le mathaka a ke ba bona ga re no ba tsohile hona le mollonyana mo pelong tsa bona. COSAFA Cup. They sees yathi sharp care. Asazi ukuthi kwenzakale. Gents, sharp care vela ki experience itseng ka Angola. Ke bone a re thome ka machaivane ke mona chaiva. Hey, mothola wa chaiva. Hayi mothola wa chaiva. Wa boy. A re tsebe wa ke wa chaiva. O ya Spain pre-season.
Ke player bo.
No, mara kokusingele mbuzo. Why are you shocked?
There's no shock. There's no shock.
This is not a team that is being assembled based on we watched you here. No. This is your trajectory.
You don't have all number.
No.
Mara Cox.
Okay, Artomem, coach Gima.
I can give it.
Okay, coach.
I can coach a leading to another high.
Coach
So, Lufuno, are you saying Rufino go final find?
Haskabara to make final. Runa premier naki patch. Everything rapatch.
Maramatala who made it clear about the coach.
Okay, I complete Mukwana Nabata. What is it that we're going to achieve?
Oh, okay.
Let's be honest.
No, Cox is sure. Coach number. Ki coach yang number.
Meeting squatting. I say who to the list.
But the fact that coach meeting.
Yeah.
This is the national team.
Yeah, come on guys.
Yes.
Don't have on.
And listen now.
No. Now let's go back to the original negotiations that Hugo Bruce. You are coming to a country that plays the following. You can't be a national team coach when you feel like.
And it's here. He's not.
Matala coaches.
Yes. No. He's here.
He's earning enough to coach everything.
He's earning enough. Parliament.
And he's here. He's not on holiday. Why is he not taking that opportunity to also look at the other players?
This is when he must say all the youngsters that are, you're not going to make it to those 3 teams. Bafana Bafana, Zerdiboni. Agree we saw 2, and the other one is in America. This is the chance for those that you're saying, Bomoremi or Hore. Let me teach you what it is that I want.
Yes.
So even if we don't win, Mara, you've had a timely Hugo Bruce, you understand his playing system and everything else.
Another question. Let's remisa.
Hey, Koro,
when you call teams for competition like that, you need to have a goal. What do you want to achieve at the end of the day? It's not an issue of calling players for the sake of calling players.
But Lofono, you are being unfair, and I feel that you are being unfair. And I'll tell you why. Yeah. Because there were 2 Bafana teams that were playing. So at that time, you'd find yourself thin in other positions because Madala called his squad, and Madala would have.
But why are we saying Madala squad?
But why are we?
Marambo,
why are we calling international friendlies on top of another international? We've got a COSAFA. We knew about COSAFA.
We knew about COSAFA before this friendlies.
So, but why then not utilize COSAFA? How many games were you going to play in COSAFA with the same players that you would have called?
Maraker Matala negotiated right.
No, it's still no problem. We're running 2 national teams parallel.
But Tata Shivu, Cox. Kacheni Ribile coach is different.
Yeah.
Now COSAFA coach is different.
And COSAFA is different.
Even in that spaghetti. Yeah, even in that spaghetti, how now we know this is the as I'm being online because players that were chosen for Chen are not here.
They're not here. What do you want to achieve?
Now you've got to be able to say, is Dlamini being looked at as a player that can join Bafana Bafana? No. And not because of he's not playing well, no, because the coach that is there does not have plans beyond Bloemfontein.
Now, okay, I totally disagree with that, and maybe not totally. Let's bring in the element Buhape Moral. As a player that has performed in this, for example, he did very well, and he was called in the preliminary squad. Where the players that were called in the preliminary squad, Matala, not filtered into this squad.
That was supposed to be the
That's
team.
what we were talking about, and Madala was supposed to be there. So they did not make the first team. They did not make the first team.
No, coaches are South Africa. And King, there's continuity. If Madala had said, normally I wouldn't pick up. I just want them to be able to see them. Everybody that I've picked as a preliminary team that has never made it, this is your chance. You are now spending a whole 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You now get to understand what is it that he wants you to be able to do. What's it like at the national team? And then you sit with Mufokeng. It's totally different atmospheres. It's totally, forget the players. It's just that you need to be able to say, the national team has got a way that they behave, a way that they do things. And at this moment, what happened to COSAFA, Lichen, it doesn't give you that.
All right. But what happened in the match, in the tournament, that is.
We should first give congratulations to Angola.
Never defended, and the defending champions.
They did it with ease.
Bluetooth speaker.
With easy. Bona. Because if you look at that team, the previous team and the now team, they're very similar. They're very similar. Who was the top goal scorer last edition? Who's the top goal scorer this edition? They are building something. They are on something.
So and they use COSAFA to build.
And that they translate to the national team. You will see more or less players that you see in COSAFA, you will see them graduating into the national team. That's why Angola is doing very well in the national team currently. They are not pushovers.
We squeezed in Kuri semi-finally. We don't still the calculator. Marara winner convincing against Comoros.
And then get exposed in the final.
Always when you find better quality cooks, when you find better quality, like fraud this thing, they never talk about the coffee or no coffee. Chino. Fraud rises to the top.
Yeah.
You've got to look at that and be able to say the quality of the South African players, and we can't say they've worked together. It was just individual brilliance that then happens to work, and the quality rose, and that's how we won. But when you find the organized machine, about one hour,
team of the tournament, look at the dominance of players that are in that team. That's okay. Angola. Ronaldo at least about 3. And one player.
Finally.
No, but we are at home. No, we can't finally link a big door. That's why.
Let's discuss. There's a player that I want us to discuss. Very good player, Supersport. And I know we spoke about Hape from Supersport. Because Supersport, yes, or gone.
I go check a man. Bar Bloemfontein, it's over the Supersport. Bestial high.
What are the rumors what do you believe?
What was
what do you believe are the rumors?
Hasin Nabarile.
Supersport too much.
No, Supersport wanna register.
Supersport data Bloemfontein. One has to be able to say, and this is the sad thing. This is a player that we're seeing as potential for the future. This is a player that we're saying has got a great future. Now, imagine time with a national team coach that would do. Because it said, so this is what the coach expects from his defenders. Because what we've got there at the top, we've got grey hairs are loading.
So abemo national team adule benching than abemo.
Psychologically, that builds him. It also for him to understand the gap between him and the national team
and the expectations of the technical team of the national team. Because now
then you're building something.
Now Pravela is going back to Kaizer Chiefs, his coaching development. So there's no continuity.
What about
Pravela decide job?
What about Lekoko if you go and look at a certain national team that's called Brazil in the past, you will see both big stars that emerged. They will go to the World Cup and never play a single game.
Somebody beat England 3-1. Senegal.
Yes.
Go look at how they do development. That's one of the national teams. There's a conveyor belt. Anybody that did not know who was going to take minus 10 in his absence is because you've never watched Senegal.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that's all we have for this week. Mataga abadubelane le taba ya COSAFA. Mara re tla e bona re lokise hore madala o tla bua mo benching na ta Hugo ba batla for COSAFA. Yep, that's how we come to an end. And remember to treat the people that you love right. Ke le rata lohle. I never rock.